Welcome back to the channel. So here's a very quick video for a question that I've received numerous times and recently on a podcast. So here it is. The question is, if you have one of these things, which is a drone to most people and an unmanned aircraft system to everybody else, if you are asked by anybody what your operator ID is, are you supposed to give over that operator ID? Now, there's a very simple answer to this question, which is a very common sense one. And in fact, it's one that the CAA agrees with. It's my view, they agree with it, and it's the most common sense view. And I know that because I asked them about it. The simple answer is this. If you are asked by a person in authority for the operator ID for one of these things, you should just tell them what it is, because ultimately the operator ID is who is responsible for the drone, whether you're the person flying it or not. So whoever the person flying it is, the operator ID is going to tell whoever it is that comes along to you who is responsible for the drone, or UAS. So there's no reason that I can see or that the CAA can see why you wouldn't give that across to anyone in authority, whether the law says so specifically letter by letter or not. The only question might come about is whether a random member of the public wants to know what your operator ID is, and that's a little bit more tricky, perhaps. If you were being civil, if it were me, I would probably just give them the number, but if you were being really picky about it, you could probably decide that on a case-by-case basis, depending on whether or not you think they've got any real reason to complain about you flying the drone and in the manner in which you are flying the drone. For example, if there's been damage, then clearly you would have to give over the operator ID, and I think you'd be in trouble, serious trouble, if you didn't do that, because by default you are implicated if you have a collision with your drone or even a near miss. So all of those rules engage. So I would say yes, you should be giving over your operator ID. If you've been flying over somebody or near to somebody, or they've been concerned about your flying and they've made that known to you, again, I would be of the view that you should give them the operator ID, and if they want to make a complaint to you or to anybody else, that they've got your operator ID with which to do that. So ultimately, the purpose of the operator ID is to tell people who is responsible for this thing. This one is obviously a Mavic Mini 2, which is 249 grams, which is the least of the restricted drones out there, but there are of course many larger ones which have much stricter requirements. So I hope that addresses the question for anyone that had it. Drop any other questions down below, I'm happy to look into those. Make sure you like and subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.